always teaching myself to learn because I spend a lot of time speaking, so which is a very bad thing in the world because the listening ear is a talking mouth. So I'm getting some frames which reminds me of one thing that I encountered as I grow as an individual. Because at work we are dealing with finances, so some people used to do fraud at work. So there was a day when we were asked to come with a bank statement. Never thought of good bank statement, yeah, print and all that stuff. And I had to give it to my manager, then he would take it to our boss. Then the boss wanted to see because we're taking money from then they pay. Some people give out their accounts from a message. And then the boss, I still recall this thing, he asked for me. I said, no, I want to talk to this guy. And then I thought, like, everybody thought it's work, it's okay. He's the one, he stole something. And then the boss asked me, why we keep our yonke man? Like why you keep a yonke man? Like why you keep a yonke man? And I never had an answer. But the more we printed these things, because every man like all the accounts we have, they had to do a checking. But they want to print the manager there is an opportunity you get to read this thing. Like AMI account never had debit orders. And then I withdraw young. Like other people, so it taps into me right now as Ushepard is talking about anxiety. We do get financial anxiety. And then it proves that money is emotional. The things that we do with our money is emotional. Like, look at what we wear, look at what we buy. You can't buy something that will make you feel less of a human. You want to buy something that will make you feel more of a human.
Yeah.
We don't buy things that will install inferiority in us. We buy things that will cause superiority in us. Then I'm not going to be trying to articulate why others don't look at a bank statement down. But this gave me, I had something that says on my mind, when we are living as humans, we are always on stage, right? Then as we are always on stage, reality kicks in when you're sitting on your bedroom. Then you start thinking of all the things you've done. The reason why many people don't go to their own bank statement is just one thing. They are afraid of looking themselves after acting. Because when you go, I'm going to use him because he was broad enough to talk about himself. When he goes to the movies, when he goes there, he's acting. But the reality taps in when he goes back and look at what he did. Now we have to question what he was doing.
Yeah.
You know what happens? That pleasure is gone. The pleasure that you were giving to yourself is gone right now. It's no longer there. Now the reality kicks in. You're questioning yourself about your popcorn or 75 rand. And now you realize it's Amaditas are now, but you could have got maybe Amaditas at 20 rand. That's when reality kicks in. Then discipline here comes from mirroring yourself. If you cannot mirror yourself, you can never be disciplined. As humans, I usually say this to myself all the time when I feel weak. As humans, we can face other people. If Umaba sends anything wrong with me, I can face him. But there's no such thing as a coward like a human. A human cannot face themselves in the mirror and say, hey, we are bad. Just like he did. He had to be broad enough and face himself that every morning, I balele izinto azenzayo. So finances, it goes beyond balancing the shits. It goes back to how good you are with looking yourself in the mirror, and don't lie to yourself. Don't lie about it was Friday, I had to spend. Just be honest. I blew it. I need it. I can't have it. It's gone. What do I do the next time? It's not going to be easy. It's not an easy journey. Why? As my sister exposed, many of us have never been taught money. Yes, we're can never be taught money because our parents are not getting enough where they were working. So they can't have that opportunity to teach you about money. There's a bigger question that I was pre-assuming that Shepard was going to ask. As you were wondering about money, what if you're not taught money, then you got all these millions? The bigger question is everybody's taught money. It's either the way you think, but everybody taught money. The bigger question is, how did you know imali? When you were born, how did you know imali? How could you evaluate that's when you got conscious about money. Then when we grow, we convert our reasoning to justify our acts. Many of us, let me just make an assumption. Many of us here would do our transactions which we don't like, but we could justify them to the core that we could realize 5 days down the line that I did not have to make the transaction. I did not have to make the transaction. The transaction right now is following you. Like you're like, shit, sorry for that word. You're like, damn, I never had to make the transaction. But 5 days down the line, it follows you. We could see, man, that transaction now is like, it's taking me. So I'm gonna take from Master Money Movements. From Master Money Movements, we had a thing that which was formulated by another guy, Uvumanus Kubu, which don't spend tomorrow's money today. For laba bahamba umashonisa, because akekho umuntu ozosho ukuthi unenkinga ukuhamba umashonisa ume khona. Akekho ozoyisho leyo nto leyo. Don't spend tomorrow's money today. What happens? Umuya makushonisa, you knock, funa leyo mali leyo. You're spending tomorrow's money today. Then the question is, what about tomorrow? For example, mashonisa uzokunika 100 rand, then you have to return it as 130. Which means when akumholo wakho usulahlekelwe imali u2, ile ofika wayithatha the actual value plus u30 rand. Okusho ukuthi wena umuholo u500 emsebenzini, usulahlekelwe u100 rand ukuqala uthethile and then ulahlekelwe u30 rand. Okusho ukuthi wena ususele noba 370. You are not prepared to lose that money. But due to ill discipline, which is caused by emotions of instant gratification, you do all those things. Then how do you deal with your emotions when it comes to finance? Because yes, money, everything it is spiritual in the world, but everything that is spiritual, it goes back to the body, that our body, and it affects our emotions. So how do you move from instant gratification to distant gratification? Majority of black people siqhamuke emndenini lana umufuna into ubungawazi ukuyithola manje, at which umususebenza isiqala ngene imali, you're like, damn, I've never had this opportunity all my life. Now I want to prove to me that now I can give myself what I'm worth. Then we start spending. Spending comes from not receiving it when you were young. Then you want to prove to yourself and the world to applaud you that, oh, well, now I have it. Then money is emotional. You can't lie about that. Because when you broke, you feel it emotional. Look saying you broke. You don't feel it anywhere. You feel it's emotional. You would say, man, I'm broke. What can I do? So it means if we want to sit, because it hits you when you have to print your bank statement and read it. It hits you, which means you have to discipline yourself and sit down and talk to yourself like the person you could judge with no care. This is where you're going to tell yourself the truth. Because if you are soft to yourself, you can never discipline yourself. You have to judge yourself. As you said, you have 3 accounts. You judge yourself like the person you hate the most, so you can get the most out of yourself. Like you sit down here, bro, what you do with the money? Tell me. Talk to me. Write it down. I want to read it. I want to know it. I want to see it. That's the least I could say about finance.
Thank you.